Housing News at 7. Hearing impaired pushes for sign languages consideration in Ondo State. Ogun traders attack Copyright Commission officials during crackdown. Nationwide blackout looms as electricity workers begin industrial action. And from the foreign scene, former French President Nicolas Sarkozy bags 5-year sentence after Libya case. Good evening and thank you for joining us on Osrc News at 7. My name is Odunayo Sawyer. Ondo State is set to join the rest of Nigeria in commemorating the country's 65th independence anniversary on October 1, 2025. The state government in a circular has scheduled a series of activities intended to mark the historic occasion, inviting officials from all arms of government and the agencies to participate fully in major anniversary events. According to the circular by Permanent Secretary of the Political and Economic Affairs Department, the week-long celebration will begin with prayers and gratitude for the nation's progress, with a Jumat prayer at Akure Central Mosque on Friday, September 26, 2025 by 1 p.m. On Sunday, September 28, 2025 at 10 a.m., leaders and members of the public will gather at the Chapel of the Annunciation, Rufus Giwa Polytechnic, Owo, for a Thanksgiving service, while the highlight of the celebration will be the Independence Day Parade set for Wednesday, October 1, 2025 at Gani Fawahimi Arcade, Iguatoro Road, Akure, beginning at 10 a.m. The circular urged all principal government officers, commissions, boards and agencies, as well as members of the House of Assembly, judicial officials, and heads of local government to attend these events. The Ondo State government has reaffirmed its commitment to policies that promote inclusivity, accessibility, and equal rights for the deaf community. This assurance came at the opening of the 2025 International Day of Sign Language and the second Deaf Awareness Week celebration, organized by Ondo State Association of the Deaf, Osrc, in Akure. Osrc's Adewumi Taiwo reports that this year's theme is No Human Right Without Sign Language Right.
Founded in 1992, Osrc has grown to over 3,242 members across the state, advocating policies that address the needs of the deaf community and strengthen social inclusion. The celebration stressed the importance of sign language as a human right and a bridge to close the communication gap between the deaf and hearing populations. Chairperson of Osrc, Patricia Akinyemi, called on the state government to scale up policy interventions for the deaf community, while commending the recent recruitment of some of their members into the Teaching Service Commission.
Automatic employment should be given to deaf members of our association into senior and junior positions in the state civil service. 2. Deploy sign language interpreters in government offices, hospitals, banks, police stations, and television stations, especially on Osrc TV for deaf viewers. 3. Release the approved fund for the 2000 Day of Sign Language, IDSL, which have remained unreleased up to now.
Guest speaker Mike Ologbese stressed that government policies must make provision for interpreters and establish centers for teaching and learning sign language to foster inclusivity.
If only they know sign language, they will not be able to communicate with the outside world, and it will be a kind of short shame for them. So that for them, sign language for everybody.
representing the governor, Senior Special Advisor on Union Matters, Bola Taiwo, assured that the government would integrate Odisat's request into its development agenda and reaffirmed support for policies that empower the deaf.
And the interpreters are very minimal. They are very minimal. We need to encourage the government to bring more, to train more interpreters.
Also speaking, the chairperson of the Association of Sign Language Interpreters, Ondo State Chapter, Mrs. Oluwaseun Oje, urged society to embrace sign language learning while commending the governor for his open-door approach to disability inclusion.
I'm happy that we have a governor that have ear to listen to all. He's a caring man. So I want to beg you, on behalf of the deaf people on those states, please, they should make opportunity of work or support to those that need it.
The event showcased the vibrancy of deaf culture and reaffirmed sign language as a fundamental right central to achieving inclusive governance and social equality. Adewumi Taiwo, OSRC News.
And Ondo State is among 15 Nigerian states placed on high alert by the federal government due to the risk of severe flooding in the last week of September 2025. According to the National Flood Early Warning Center under the Ministry of Environment, heavy rainfall is expected to impact multiple states and vulnerable communities, with Akure and several localities in Ondo State particularly at risk. Meanwhile, the Ondo State government has tasked relevant stakeholders to implement precautionary strategies, including monitoring drainage channels, relocating residents from flood-prone areas, and reinforcing emergency preparedness plans. Following the presentation of the report by the Presidential Committee on Ogoni Consultations, chaired by Professor Don Baridam, President Tinubu has directed the National Security Advisor, NSA, Nuhuri Badu, to engage the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, the Ogoni people, and other stakeholders to finalize plans for resuming oil production in Ogoni land. The President directed the Minister of Environment and the NSA to integrate the programs into a broader dialogue and implementation strategy. He emphasized addressing non-valuable assets and deploying resources to ensure shared prosperity for the Ogoni communities. Tinubu praised the committee's dedication and urged the Ogoni to unite and continue dialogue, assuring that the government is committed to safeguarding their environment. He acknowledged the long years of suffering endured by the Ogoni people and declared that hope has returned with a new chapter of reconciliation and progress.
Sovereign of the Ogoni people, and today we declare with conviction, hope is here and is back with us. I urge the Ogoni people across the clans, communities, and generations to close ranks. Put this dark chapter behind us and move forward as a united community with single voice reconciliation. Is not an erasure of history. It is the commitment to write the next chapter together with joy. I'm encouraged by the overwhelming consensus of the Ogoni communities to welcome the resumption of oil production under new equitable terms, resourceful commitment. Government will deploy every resource to support the Ogoni people in this march towards shared prosperity. It will be inclusive. I acknowledge the past grievances of the former operator. In 2022, the previous administration transferred the operatorship of the Ogoni oil field to to the Nigerian Petroleum Company NNPCL and its joint venture partners. We shall honor and build on that decision. Accordingly, I'm directing the National Security Advisor to commence immediately engagement between the Ogboni people and NNPCL. It is joint venture partners and all relevant stakeholders with a view to finalizing modalities to begin operations. We have to start now. A dead asset is not valuable to the community, the country, and the people. The further we live and the longer we procrastinate or try to find other means, the worse it is for the people and for the nation.
President Bola Tinubu there. Electricity consumers relying on the national grid may face a prolonged blackout as the National Union of Electricity Employees (NUEE) have begun a nationwide strike over unresolved labor disputes with Transmission Company of Nigeria. The union, in a circular by its General Secretary Dominic Igwebike, directed its members across the country to withdraw their services indefinitely until management addresses long-standing warfare and operational concerns. NUEE said the strike became inevitable after the expiration of an ultimatum issued to TCN, accusing the company of failing to address grievances bordering on poor staff welfare, non-provision of essential tools, and disregard for workers' rights. The union listed its demands to include implementation of the national minimum wage, end to casualization of workers, provision of working tools and materials, payment of staff salaries owed since April 2025. NUEE had previously shut down operations in June 2024, a move that crippled power supply in many states and forced the federal government into emergency negotiations. Meanwhile, the World Bank says 17 African governments have committed to reforms and actionable plans to expand electricity access. The move is part of Mission 300, an ambitious partnership led by the lender and the African Development Bank Group that aims to connect 300 million Africans to electricity by 2030. The lender said governments from the nations endorsed national energy compacts at the Bloomberg Philanthropies Global Forum. Nigeria is not part of the latest group, having joined earlier this year alongside 11 others. Ibadan is in a festive mood as President Tinubu orders prepare to attend coronation of 44th Olubadan. This and more after the break.
Go.
Thank you for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. The growth and sustainability of a cooperative society depend largely on collective efforts, legitimacy, and responsible conduct of its members. This was the focus of a one-day seminar jointly organized by the Cooperative Societies of the Ondo State Radio Vision Corporation, OSRC Media Group. OSRC correspondent Abidemi Akerotoye reports.
It was a convergence of members of cooperative societies within the fold of Osrc Media Group at a one-day seminar held in the corporation's premises. The coordinator of the event, Babatunde Olukayode, explained that the seminar was designed to equip participants with a deeper understanding of cooperative development, financial empowerment, members' rights, and the guiding principles of cooperative societies.
This seminar is significant. Significant in the sense that, one, this is the first of its kind in the history of this organization. Then, it will also foster unity among our members and ensure better understanding of the operation of our society.
Director General of Osrc, Kenneth Odushola Stevenson, who was represented by his technical advisor, Collins Olagundoye, commended the initiative, noting that it would rather strengthen cooperative development within the corporation.
Distinguished members of this cooperative society in the Osrc Media Group. Our media group recognizes the importance of cooperatives and remains committed to creating an enabling environment where they can thrive. So we shall continue to provide support in areas of training, outside tutorials, and of course, regulatory guidance to ensure that cooperative societies remain catalysts of economic growth and social development as far as this corporation is concerned.
Delivering a lecture, a retired Deputy Director of Cooperative Societies, Mr. Adeayeni, stressed the critical role of members in sustaining cooperative societies. He noted that active engagement and commitment of members are vital to ensuring their success.
When you join a cooperative society as a member, ensure the organization knows accountability and success. God, when we are contributing our quota in all areas, in the area of contribution of your shares and savings in the society, area of attending the meeting properly, area of participating in all events of the society, that means you are playing your role as a member.
Another facilitator, Olusegun Ojuolape, shed light on the legal framework guiding cooperative societies and warned against the risk of non-compliance with regulatory standards.
I want to encourage us, if you get out there, when you see a society with a cripple, please don't go there. It is very dangerous.
The seminar was described a milestone by participants who urged members to embrace collaboration, teamwork, mutual support, and accountability. It also set the stage for future empowerment, positioning participants to make greater contributions to their societies and, by extension, to sustainable growth and development. Abidemi Akinro-Toye, Osrc News.
Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, is in a festive mood as President Bola Tinubu and other dignitaries prepare to attend the coronation of the 44th Olubadan, Oba Rashid Ladoja, on Friday. The coronation, built to hold at Mapo Hall, will draw traditional rulers, eminent personalities, politicians, scholars, and citizens of Ibadan land in celebration of the former governor's ascension to the ancient throne. In readiness for Friday's grand event, the upgraded Samuel Akintola Airport in Ibadan has reopened after 5 months of closure. At the first Olubadan coronation lecture, renowned historian Professor Toyin Falola expressed optimism that the new Olubadan's reign will usher in modernization in Ibadan land. Markets across the ancient city are also expected to close on Friday as traders pay homage to the new monarch. INEC has held a strategic meeting in preparation for the forthcoming Anambra State governorship election, the area council election in the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), and the conduct of party primaries for the Ekiti and Osun State governorship elections. The meeting was presided over by the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakub. Professor Yakub, at the meeting, assured the people of Anambra State of a fair and transparent exercise. Moving on to Ogun State, traders at Sabo Market in Shagamu have attacked officials of Nigerian Copyright Commission led by Oyo State Coordinator Olurokbo Oke and prevented the enforcement team from leaving the market with seized bags of pirated books. The rampaging traders threatened to burn down the Commission's operational vehicles, including one belonging to Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps Ogun State Command. The enforcement team had successfully raided 2 bookshops inside the busy market, confiscated the pirated books, and sealed the shops, but the traders mobilized to block the NCC team from departing. Oke, however, said an NCC operation at another bookshop opposite the Abbas Palace was successful, as the owner of the sanctioned shop will face consequences for illegal trade. She urged Nigerians to join the government in fighting piracy, given its immeasurable negative impact on the economy and job creation. President Bola Tinubu has renewed his call for a permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council as a wider process of institutional reforms. Speaking during the general debate of the 80th session of United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, in New York City, President Bola Tinubu said Nigeria's population has grown to more than 200 million, while the nation's military had participated in 51 out of 60 United Nations peacekeeping operations since her independence in 1960. At the forum, President Tinubu reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to peace, development, unity, and human rights, emphasizing the importance of collective action and cooperation in resolving global challenges.
We are here to strengthen the prospects for peace, development, and human rights. Madam President, I want to make 4 points today to outline how we can do this. 1. Nigeria must have a permanent seat at the UN Security Council. This should take place. This should take place as part of a wider process of institutional reform. 2. We need urgent action to promote sovereign debt relief and access to trade and financing. 3. Countries that host minerals must benefit from those minerals. And 4th, the digital divide must close. As our friend the Secretary General has said, AI must stand for Africa included. On my first point, the United Nations will recover its relevance only when it reflects the world as it is, not as it was. Nigeria's journey tells this story with clarity. And for reform that restores credibility to the very institution upon which the hope of multilateralism rests. This is why Nigeria stands firmly behind the UN-80 initiative of the UN Secretary General and the resolution adopted by this Assembly on 18th July 2025. A bold step to reform the wider United Nations system for greater relevance, efficiency, and effectiveness in the face of unprecedented financial strain. We support the drive to rationalize structures and end the duplication of responsibilities and programs, so that this institution may speak with one voice and act with greater coherence.
On the foreign scene, former French President Nicolas Sarkozy has been sentenced to 5 years in jail after being found guilty of criminal conspiracy in a case related to millions of euros of illicit funds from the late Libyan leader Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. The Paris Criminal Court acquitted him of all other charges, including passive corruption and illegal campaign financing. The ruling means he will spend time in jail even if he launches an appeal, which Sarkozy says he intends to do. Speaking after the hearing, the 70-year-old, who was president from 2007 to 2012, said the verdict was extremely serious for rule of law. With that, we've come to the end of the news at 7, but before we go, another look at the major stories. Ondo State Association of the Deaf has urged the government to close the communication gap between the deaf and the hearing population. Chairperson of the group, Patricia Akinyemi, made the call as the state joined the rest of the world to mark the 2025 International Day of Sign Language and the second Deaf Awareness Week celebration. Suspected thugs have attacked a Nigerian Copyright Commission task force from carrying out the operation at a market in Chagamu, Ogun State. We told you that the National Union of Electricity Employees has directed its members nationwide to withdraw the services, accusing transmission companies of Nigeria of failing to address long-standing welfare and operational grievances. And from the foreign scene, we informed you that a Paris court has sentenced former French President Nicolas Sarkozy to 5 years in prison after finding him guilty of participation in criminal conspiracy tied to alleged Libyan financing of his 2007 presidential campaign. And that's it on the news. Thank you so much for watching. Good evening.
Remember how mom used to wake up before everybody to make breakfast, iron our uniform, and surprise that woman with something special.
Reward your mom with a trip to Zanzibar in the 2025 Three Crowns Mom of the Year competition. Write a note using each letter in your mom's name and submit with any of these on our website or at any of our collection centers. T's and C's apply. Three Crowns Milk. Healthy moms, happy families.